In memory lie the traces of what is important. However much we might have moved on in life, what remains as vestiges in our beings is what we are made of. It could be stardust or merely dust. That's of no consequence. What is important is to know it exists, and it is what we are. It is the first poem we write to ourselves. This is Sunil Bhandari, and you are listening to Uncut Poetry. Finding home in places we've left behind. Everything is solid but abandoned. The sand is hard like burnished steel, and trees are like overgrown cacti, splaying out their arms in a silent scream for help. Dhundlod Public School, says the signboard, an anomaly for a building which should have pan-chewing clerks of a government building, instead spewing out children like a sandstorm. And for a while the road has the scattered rain of screams and chatter. Tolasoria Skills School waits patiently for its future clientele. I ask the tea seller, what does development mean here? He guffaws, spits into the open drain, and says, we've done nothing for centuries and have survived. Right behind him is an unused well, 4 pillars guarding its toothless mouth, with patches of blue and red, and cracks revealing the earthen pots packed tightly inside. Shyly peeping out into the world, a bride revealed to have a torn ghagara. This place makes me feel guilty of being well fed in a city where everything proclaims it has meaning. Here even the chhatri, a resting place for travellers, is abandoned, too broken for even the drunkard of the town or lovers seeking trysts on clean floors. I talk to my partner of forgotten places, and she asks, when were they remembered? We walk back to the Haveli, our heads down, as the mist rains on us like a silent torrent, till we were grinning wryly, cold, wet. I have left this town to its devices, though it has my blood, sweat, semen, for a city which now has all the contours of a home and has shaped my memory in inflexible ways. I mused if places have memories and the sense of being left adrift, and the feeling I got of being watched by my school, college, was my guilt or a hurt town's silent reproach. I will go to the roof in the morning and pour tea beside turrets now black with a century of grime, and see the sun catch the plume of a peacock walking gingerly in the fallow fields. There would be smoke from the huts and women bringing out mattresses out in the sun. I would know that nothing dies just because I have forgotten, and though some maps might not have names of places, they do survive. Revisiting a place where one has one's roots is tricky business. On the one hand, there is enough familiarity, relatives, school chums as unrecognizable adults, hazy lines of playgrounds, peacocks, changing views from rooftops, familiar cracks now deeper, and on the other, one enters the familiar as a complete stranger. The air is lighter, the light is sharper, the language is alien in spite of familiar intonations, and one sits on judgement, and a sense of superiority emerges, as if the place I have settled in is not only different but also way ahead, whatever the meaning of that word is. But the bigger tragedy is how we look at what was hometown, nay, home, is now a place to judge, to compare, to find it falling short. We move on in life. Whether it indicates moving forward is a moot point. What does linger is what we leave behind, sometimes as a place stuck in a time wrap, sometimes merely reluctant to find new beats, happy in its anachronisms. Sometimes as people who are happy to remain what they are, tiny dreams ensconced in comfortable immobility. And that is a choice to be happy in one's own quiddities within one's particularities. And who are we to judge? Just because we have found different dreams, racier trajectories, more informed choices. If finally what we as human beings seek is serenity and fulfillment, how do we even know whether that is there in the places and people we have left behind? In our desire to know ourselves better, it is often a good idea to haul ourselves back to our roots and then just sit back and see ourselves implode, explode, sink or float. If nothing else, we will get to know ourselves better. This is Sunil Bhandari and you are listening to Uncut Poetry. If you enjoyed this poem, rate it on Spotify or leave a comment on Apple Podcast. And I have a lovely newsletter called The Uncuts, which is like a Sunday dollop of warmth and fun and beauty. Subscribe to it. The link is in the show notes. And if you loved this episode, please do share it with someone you love. See you next week.